What's good? What's good? Well, I'll tell you what's good, everybody. It's the fourth quarter. Season closing, season ending, Black Friday sales, all that good stuff is coming up. And now, from a business and finance standpoint, usually everyone takes the end of the year, the fourth quarter. Okay, we got to end the year strong, try to end the black, good sales, have a good look back on a good year of numbers. Personally, a lot of people take this as, okay, maybe vacation, time with the family, spend the holidays with them, have fun, rack up a bunch of bills. And then next year I'm going to get everything straight. Next year, let's kick off the business. I'm going to get much better with my social media. I'm going to start marketing better. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to learn a new language. But we're going to wait until the beginning of the new year. And that's where a lot of people mess up. They wait for tomorrow to do something that they know they should be doing today, even if it's a small step in getting it done today. So in this episode, what we're going to talk about is literally how to take that fourth quarter mindset from business, apply it personally, and apply it to your own small business. Because even the small business owner, the entrepreneur, you guys are doing the same thing. Because whatever you do personally, it's going to seep into your business. It just happens. The bad habits and the good habits, they always kind of cross that line. Whether you see it, whether you feel it, or you're aware of it right off the bat or not. We'll take a few tips, a few pieces of advice, tried and true disciplines, activities, things to help you get on that path to where you're thinking, you know what, I'm not going to wait till tomorrow to make those moves that I need to make. Even if it's a small step today. I'm going to end this year strong. I'm going to go into it positive. I'm going to go into the next year real positive. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. What it means is you go into it with a better mindset. As is, instead of, I'm going to wait to start the better path tomorrow, I'm going to kick it off right now. And that way I go already on a positive note. Good momentum. Good old momentum, right? So let's get it today in the Ambition Show. Let's figure out, go over some tips, go over some pieces of advice, a few tools. Not waiting for the new year. Let's end this year strong. Get the most out of this fourth quarter. Let's get it. All right, everybody. We're going to get rid of all the fluff and push it out aside. Let's just focus on what we came here for. Now, usually, like I said, the fourth quarter is all about, a business mindset, financial mindset, and then in the black, and it was good using sales, promotions, good advertisement to bring people through the doors, liquidate what we can, get the, basically what can we do to end strong, right? That way we can go in to the next year on a good note, on a high note. Now, unfortunately, in the world, the reality, a lot of times we see those sales. A lot of times we see, major movement, a lot of promotions, a lot of sales. And then, unfortunately, we also see on the other side of the new year, a lot of people get fired. I'm just being real, because what a lot of times happens is businesses wait too long. Okay. Or in some cases, they'll take on too much debt to make those things happen, right? They'll buy a bunch of product, right? Just to move it, just to get it out the door. With very low margins. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, that means you probably have never worked in retail, okay? Because this can definitely happen. Of course, as we see more people shop online, it's crazy. But the principle that's there, the practice, there's actually a method to the madness, and it makes perfect sense from a business standpoint, but also from a personal standpoint. They're not trying to wait until the beginning of the new year to make things happen. They're not waiting until January 1st to be in a position to win for the rest of the year. They're saying, hey, let's go in strong. That way, whatever strategies we have, we can put some really good things in place. And the smartest businesses, or I should say the businesses that most effectively do this, they're the ones, they've laid out that strategy. They're like, this is literally a part of the strategy. It goes back to something I talk about with a business plan all the time, right? This actually goes into that strategy, right? They're not waiting to apply it. They're saying, hey, we're going to lay the foundation right now. This is one of those activities we need to ensure that is effectively met. Same thing. Think of from a sports standpoint, right? Fourth quarter in football, American football, right? The last thing you want to do from a football standpoint is to be in a position where we have to win the game right now. Like if everything we've done, we're well behind. We're one, maybe even two. Hope to God you're not 3 touchdowns behind. That you need to come back in the fourth quarter. And that's my point. You don't wait until the end. But it's not about waiting. Sometimes we're in a position where, hey, it happened. Things happen to us. Things get thrown our way. Let's stop waiting. Let's stop waiting until the next day, to the next week, to the next year. Let's put some things in place now. And the funny thing about it is I go over the business tips, right? The business aspect. You can apply the same thing to personal. We're going to connect the dots. So 3 key areas to end the year strong for your business. And like I said, we're going to connect them to 3 to 4, maybe even 5 areas. We're going to look at it and break it down as best as possible where it's measurable, where it's easier for you, an easier lift for you to connect the dots and apply it. Because that's all that matters. If you can't apply it, if you can't implement it, doesn't matter. I'm being honest with you, it really doesn't. You got to be able to apply this. So from a business standpoint, the 3, focus on customer retention, not acquisition. Optimize your market for this time of year. And going back to that strategy piece, review and adjust your goals. Okay. So we come back, we're going to go over those 3 for the business standpoint and connect the dots specifically at how you can attach to personal growth activities. And once again, get the best out of this year and roll nicely into the next year when we come back.
All right, so you spent all your time writing that beautiful draft. You finally got it to where you wanted to, were able to submit it to the publication you wanted to, and frankly, yeah, they never want to talk to you again. Now, do not do what a lot of people would do and just go scorched earth, go freaking crazy and say, I'm never going to write again. No, instead, you have a great tool at your disposal. Use Grammarly. AI writing tool fixes everything for you, works over the top of everything. So write your best work and most definitely edit with confidence. You always want to edit. Use Grammarly now. Okay, so first let's talk about, here are the 3 tips to help you finish out this fourth quarter strong, focusing on the business aspects, right? So number 1, let's get into prioritizing your customers, specifically the customer's retention and the loyalty that they have with your brand. See, what a lot of people don't keep in mind is it costs 2 to 3, even in some cases, depending upon the industry, 5 times more to bring in a new customer as opposed to retaining and keeping and building on loyalty with a current customer. And this is a failure a lot of small businesses and entrepreneurs make, right? They focus too much on, I got to get more, as opposed to making sure that the relationships that they've already established are strong, long-term. And this is the big one. This is when you think about that customer journey aspect of things. Are they going to come around and they're going to be an advocate? Are they going to be a brand ambassador? So prioritizing your customer, focusing on retention, building on that loyalty, that relationship is fundamental. And that's one of the things you should be focusing on the most at the end of the year. Not spending a bunch of extra money just on promotion and advertising to bring in new customers, right? This actually, at this point in time, this should be, hey, you know all those customers I brought in throughout the year? Let me make them feel better. Hey, here's some holiday offers, right? Here's some specific holiday sales just for you and your loyalty, which goes into the second point, right? Optimize your marketing and sales specifically for the holidays. Offer them deals, okay? Give them special discounts for being a loyal customer. And this is how you treat a loyal customer. They'll say, oh, well, if you've made 10 purchases, then we'll give you something, right? Because let's be honest, we all know that the year got busy. With elections, taxes, summer, vacation, family changes, things like that. You may have, I haven't been following up with these people. I haven't been connected with them all year. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reach out. This is why you should capture data. This is why you got to capture that data, right? I'm going to go back, emails, phone numbers, send them a text. This is where you spend that money. Hey, I have your data already. I have your contact information already. You purchased back in the summer. You purchased back in the early spring. You purchased at the beginning of this year. Well, you know what? We are happy. We're happy that we had your business. We're happy that you came into our doors. We're happy that you visited our website. Here's a discount. Here's an offer. Here's an opportunity. And you know what? If you refer a friend, we'll give you another opportunity. We'll extend the discount to them as well. Maybe not as nice as yours. We'll give you another discount. The point is that you make them feel special and you say, hey, listen, we're thinking of you this holiday season. No matter what holiday they're celebrating, no matter what holiday you're celebrating, we're thinking about you and we appreciate you. Right? Which then you can go to this last point of your business goals and is look back on those goals. How many of those customers came back? Did you hit the numbers in the sales? Because remember, if you're spending more to get new customers and make sales, your debt is going up. Your cost is going up. So your return on investment most likely is going to go down because you may have to give out a discount for the holidays, right? But this is a person you never reached out to before. So you got to do 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the touches, right? You have to make them aware of your brand in the first place. Just get them on your radar, right? And connect with them. But if you work and focus on those customers that you had initially, that's a little different. You're already on their radar. You're already in their ecosystem. Maybe there was a reason why they didn't come back. You know what it could have been? Lack of communication. So what were your goals in the initial part of the year, at the beginning of the year? Did you have a 3-year plan? What were your goals from 2 years ago? Are you even closer to that? That's why you got to make those SMART goals, right? But if we focus on let's retain and build a long-term relationship with the customers we've already had, let's build a loyal following with them. Let's market to them. Let's connect with them. Let's optimize this holiday season with them and get the data and learn from them. Was there a reason why you didn't come back to the store? Was there a reason why you didn't come back to the website? You know, hey, you got to ask those tough questions. Was there a reason why you didn't refer us to someone else? We would love to know. Connect with them and meet them where they're at. If they're on social, hey, maybe that could have been the simple communication miss, right? Maybe they are more on TikTok or Instagram and you're putting all your energy, you're putting all your efforts into Facebook. I see this with especially a lot of businesses that just started getting online. They didn't know where to start with social media. So they jumped up with the trendy things, with, of course, TikTok. But they had so much energy and put so much time and energy into Facebook. They just kept doing that. And they're just now jumping onto the trendy stuff. They may have missed where those customers went because customers age, right, over time, and customers, their life changes as well. So maybe they went to another platform. Ask them in a simple email, hey, you know what? If you fill out this poll or if you fill out this survey real quick, I'll give you 20% off. I'll give you a discount for the holidays, right? We're going to give you a discount for the holidays. But if you fill out the survey, we'll extend it because we really want to get to know you and making sure we're providing what's best for you. And based on that, that's when you say, okay, boom, goals for next year. But don't wait until New Year's Eve to say, we need to look at these goals, or we need to make new goals, or now we're going to start out strong, or now we're going to start building relationships with customers. I know, hey, it's holiday season. You want to take some time off too. Don't let that time pass, So prioritize customers in retention and focus on loyalty. If you're going to optimize marketing and sales for the holidays, put that attention into building out that relationship with the people who've been there, who've been supporting you the whole time. And if you didn't have the goals before, make them now based on the data and the information you get and adjust now. That way, going into 2025, you good. and hey, this is going to change. The same thing, into 2025 into 2026, 2026 into 2027. Keep it on moving and keep it on moving. Prioritize the customer you have now, the customers you've had this year. Optimize that marketing sales for the holidays. Really build on that relationship with them. Review and adjust your goals. Those are your 3. More than enough. More than enough. When we come back, we'll go over personal productivity tips. Okay, everybody, so let's get into it. the productivity tips, our personal productivity. Now, this can be also, of course, applied to business, but a lot of times people they'll make New Year's goals for them, their business or their enterprise, whatever it is. But it seems like a lot of times it's more so focused on the personal, which I can completely understand, right? Because if you're not happy with just who you are internally, nothing's gonna make it right. No matter money, business, company, job, none of that BS. It's all about how you feel inside, right? And for anybody who doesn't agree with that, they think the money's gonna do, hey, good for you. You're gonna be a miserable rich person. And I know what you're probably thinking, hey, rich is gonna make me happy. No, sir. But hey, if that's what works for you, that's what works for you. Okay. We want a little bit more on this side of the world. Okay. So the key here to start off worked for me. Had to make adjustments because I used to do once in a while, I would do that whole New Year's thing. The first thing is, what is success? Like, what does success look like? What is a goal that I want, right? And I know there's a lot of pushback nowadays, especially on goals, where people are like, oh, you shouldn't be so goal oriented to make causes too much stress and everything. Well, if I don't have a purpose, and I'm not saying this is your overall whole life purpose, but a simple goal could be, hey, I just want to lose 10% body fat. A simple goal could be, hey, I want to feel better going up and down a flight of stairs, right? And that might sound kind of like lame and crazy to some people, but I'm like, no, think about it. That's very small, but that's very important, right? Because you got to take the small steps, but it's measurable and it's a clear-cut goal. Get real with yourself. Be honest with yourself. I once worked on a pretty large project. It's going to be probably about a little shy of about 1.5 million, right? And I'll never forget this. I was talking to the project team, very first kickoff meeting. We were going over the scope deck. I'll never forget this. We're going over the scope deck, this overview presentation, everything of the project. And one of the clients on the project. Now, this is a major corporation. So the client isn't the owner, the CEO or anything. This is actually an operations manager. Promise you, I'm looking over the scope deck, me and the team. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, I'm like, I got to ask this question because I'm not finding the answer. I'm like, what is success? Because they're talking about different things they want to achieve, right? So I'm thinking that's the goals, but it doesn't say that this is one of the key deliverables of the project. In other words, if we do this, we're successful. If we do this by this point in time, at this cost, then we're successful. It doesn't say anything like that. It's just talking about, hey, this is be nice and we could do this and we can make this amount of money. We can have this return on investment. It's like, okay, so the return on investment. Nope, doesn't say that. It doesn't say that this is a deliverable. It just says could happen if this project is achieved. So I have to ask, I'm like, hey, what's the goal of the project, right? Which falls into scope. I usually call it all a scope, right? Because I'm thinking of all the elements from a project management standpoint. I'm thinking of all those elements. I'm thinking of the timeline. I'm thinking of the costs. I'm thinking of the actual tangible or the actual the deliverable, right? Within that time and within that cost. I'm like, but what's the goal? So I just get into layman's terms. What's the goal here? What's the deliverable? And I say, okay, I'm not getting this. I'm like, let me frame this a little bit better. What does success mean? When we say this project is successful, what would have to occur to make it successful? I promise you, this was the answer I got from one of the operation leads who's on the project, one of the SMEs, subject matter expert we're talking to. He goes to me and says, I know it when I see it. Not verbally. This is my response in my head. I'm responding. I wanted to say this, but you are so lucky I don't own this company that you work for, because you hired people to produce a project, to produce a product, and you don't know what success looks like. And you're about to spend over $1 million on it. Oh my God. How do you have a job? It was really all going through my head at that moment, right? That pertains to this, simply put, a goal, a clear, measurable goal. Be specific, be honest. Because, hey, you know why he had no problem saying that? Because he's not about to waste his almost $2 million. He's about to waste the $2 million of the company he worked for and about to pay me and a bunch of other people. Right? And as a person who cares about performance, as a person who cares about being successful, and I know what success means to me, I'm accomplishing a goal. I'm getting something done and I'm meeting that goal, right? To me, this guy's about to waste money, and he could potentially waste everybody's time, because then it goes, well, you know what? That's not what success means. Maybe it's something else. That's exactly how you're about to go about it if you don't have a clear-cut goal for yourself. Because if you say, hey, I just want to lose weight. Well, that's nice, but let's get real. What do you mean by that? Do you want to lose body fat? You want to gain muscle? Because if you gain muscle, you're actually going to probably increase weight, right? More and more people are learning this, that muscle actually, which is not nothing new, but people just say, I want to lose weight when they really mean they want to lose fat. They want to lose body fat. Make the goal, I just want to go up and down the stairs. I want to go up and down a flight of stairs, like 3 flights of stairs, 5 flights of stairs, 10 flights of stairs. That's why I'm putting a number on it. I want to have $500 every month, an additional $500 in my savings account every month. I want to purchase $5,000 worth of stock and increase my portfolio. A number, a time frame. Be honest with yourself, though. Make it reasonable. Hey, I can't do $500 every month. I'm not knocking anybody who can't do it. $100. Do you know most people don't even have that? $100 in a savings account. I want to open a CD and want to be able to contribute to that CD every month. Measurable. Tactical. It's achievable. But you're honest. Start now. Hey, my next paycheck, I'm going to put half towards that. I'm not going to wait until January. I'm not going to wait till February. I'm not going to wait till after Christmas. I'm going to buy less presents. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody boo-hoo's going to have to cry a little bit. Okay. I'm going to probably buy less presents. Or you know what? We're going to adjust it where we do something more of it as a family, right? As opposed to just sending gifts to people. Get creative, but be realistic too. Same thing goes to your business, what you can and cannot afford. And you notice where I kept focusing on time. It goes to the next point. You got to streamline your time. You got to be real good on your time management. Get much better. This is the one area that I see so many articles. I see so many tips. Let me tell you something. I have yet to see one person talk about time management and how to do time management, be better with time management. That's wrong. It's just what works for you. There's so many great ways, but what works for you? Find what works for you. But you notice I'm never talking about think about it. I'm saying find it. Search and apply. Search and apply. Get out of your own way. Implement. It's not going to be perfect at all times, but you got to act. Taking my own advice. When I talk to you, I'm talking to myself. When I'm thinking, about this kind of stuff and I'm writing up the scripts, thinking about how have I applied it? Where can I apply it more? Who is this going to help besides the people I'm talking to? Who can this help as well as myself? Because got to practice what you preach, right? With this one, I made myself a calendar. Every year, I kind of readjust my calendars. I don't use the same kind of schedule. I change it up just to play around with it, see what's working, see what's not working, right? And I'll bring over what isn't working. Sometimes one year entire year, I didn't touch a digital calendar. I didn't do anything digitally. I did everything. And I mean, of course, I had a calendar at work was digital, but I would always write down those meetings. And I had a whiteboard and it worked. I said, okay, but you know what? Changing up my office, not going to have enough room, building up a little recording studio, all that good stuff. I won't have a whiteboard anymore, right? Maybe I'll have it a little bit differently. So I have a whiteboard and a cork board mixed together, post up Post-its. I mean, that's my point. It's like change it up, but don't wait. I didn't wait until January to say, okay, I built out my calendar the way it's going to look. I'm like, this is the calendar I want to use. This is the schedule I want to use. And I'll share that with you guys. This is the schedule I want to use. And the best thing about that is not waiting. It goes to the next point. Like I said, I reflect on what worked, reflect on not necessarily what didn't, but the obstacles, the challenges. No failures. Because I always tried. I put it in, I tried, it didn't work. That's not necessarily a failure. See, to me, a failure is never starting, never even attempting it. Either you do or you don't. Right? There's no try. Either you do it or you don't. Some things weren't supposed to work out. Some things are. So when it comes to the calendar, what worked from a calendar? Does a digital calendar work because I have so many electronic devices? Maybe I have a smartwatch. Personal note, I hate smartwatches. I'm an old school guy. I will admit that when it comes to a timepiece, I'm an old school guy. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, every big company makes a watch. I mean, makes a smartwatch now. But I will gladly take, you know, an old school Movado, Seiko, Fossil, whatever. You know, I know somebody saying, oh, well, you don't have a Rolex or a Patek or no, I don't. Okay. If you want to buy me one, I will give you my office address and you can send me one if you want to buy me a Rolex, if you don't like my watch collection. But right now I've got the Movado, I got a few Seikos, I got a Tag, I got a, you know, I like it. But that's my point. Right? You do it your way and do what works best for you. So if it is a smartwatch, great. If that's the way you're going to keep track of yourself, great. Every day, if you have a task, make sure it's on that calendar. But just, hey, today, this is what I want to get done. I want to publish that article. I want to send out to my email list. I want to update my resume and my portfolio so they look good. Get this LinkedIn profile right. Get my freelance profile right. You know what I'm saying? Build my business profiles. But I want them all to be in sync. So first I'm going to do the resume and the profile. The next day, I'm going to upload that to LinkedIn, make sure everything looks good. And then for the rest of the week, I'm going to sync all the profiles. By the end of the week, I'm good. I'm looking great online. It's tight. It's one cohesive brand message. And yes, I know what somebody's thinking right now. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. It is actually that simple because I made it that simple. You bring it down to what you can achieve that day. That's what I could achieve, right? Maybe you say, hey, you know what? I have to portfolio one day, resume the next day. I just have to do it that way. Maybe I have to, instead of going right to my LinkedIn profile, I have to make the LinkedIn account. It might take me a day to do that. That's fine. Finish what you start. If it's a task, this goes back to time management. Finish what you start. Give yourself the time, make a SMART goal. You can finish it that day. You can finish it, get it done, and move on. Now, that is lingering. And this is, hey, y'all, me right here. I'm the king of this. Oh, I'm going to knock out this. I'm going to record the episode. I'm going to edit 5 episodes. I'm going to write an article. I'm going to build a website. Oh, wait, I got to sleep. Oh, I got to eat. Oh, that's right. Prayer. That's 5 times a day. God, good Lord, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And literally that's what happens. I was a king of doing this. A king of it. And it still creeps up here and there. Oh, no. It rears its ugly head. So you know what I do? I go back to that list. I'm like, no, Aaron. No. The bad habits. And bad habits are hard to break. So one thing I did, give you this pro tip. Write down your achievements. And this is the key. Achievements from that whole schedule, that everything you've done. And you go miss days in here. I mean, but I would like, just because this is what helped me. Just write down a few achievements that you did that year. And you know what you do at the end of that? Like, hey, I finished my first ebook. How did you do it? Well, you know what? I wrote a new chapter every day for a week. And I was on schedule for the publish date. So I picked the publish date first. I made the account. And then I started writing the chapters. This is a real example, right? And what that shows you is that, okay, that's what worked for me. Now, how can I apply that to the next goals? How can I apply that to the next time management? And did the electronic calendar work? Did the physical calendar work? Does a wall calendar work better? Have a client, before I move on to the last 2 points, had a client. She absolutely laughed and she loved it. And she's like, Aaron, I called. Because I have of course, a business mobile number. She said, Aaron, I called. The phone was off. So I got concerned. I said, well, when'd you call me? I'm like, because my phone's always on in business hours. Keep this in mind. She's like, I called on a Saturday. And I'm like, oh. I was like, yeah, I turned that phone off. And at first I was like, because I said it that way because that's the way I say stuff. Okay, get over it. I thought she was going to get upset. And she's like, you have office hours. I was like, of course. Because people think, oh, if you're a freelancer, you're an entrepreneur, you should be on your phone and on all the time. No. Guard your time. Safeguard your time. I said, Sunday is my day with my family. I try to spend as much time with my family as I can. Even though we're older, I still do it. Because you're not getting that back. Can't replace that with anything. No money, no nothing can replace those things. Right? It's just like your health. You can't get those back. And on Saturday, I wanted to focus on recording my podcast because that's what worked previously. I was like, okay, Saturdays are great days to record, get most of the editing done, if not the entire thing. I can literally do that in a decent amount of time and still enjoy the rest of the day. And that's the point. And I thought she was going to be upset. She was like, nope. Never even tried to call past Thursday again. Never tried to call past Thursday again. And you know why? Because people will respect your boundaries if they respect you. But you got to respect your boundaries first. Ooh, that's a bar. I need to put that on a shirt. I'm sorry. I'm literally writing this down on the poster right now. I got to put that on a shirt. Okay. So write down your achievements and what worked. Don't write down what didn't work. Focus on what worked. And then if you see alignment with what you want to get done next year, cool. And if you say, hey, you know what? I have to change up. Was it writing it down? Was it putting it in a journal? Was it working with the wall calendar, digital calendar? One of those things. The next one is, and I brought it up just by spending time with the family. Next up, invest in personal growth and self-care. Invest in yourself. Now, I know somebody's going to say, oh yeah, that means, working out and all this stuff. Well, if that's one of your goals, this is my point. Get it away from the other stuff a little bit. Like, hey, that's a goal. That's great. And it could be aligned to your business. But I just want to read a book every week or every month. I've done the book a week, done the book a month, a bunch of years, but I've done the book a week. Don't get so wrapped up in, oh my God, I read a book a week. Don't do that. Because you actually want to retain the information. Okay. One of the best ways to do this, I've used Audible platform. I enjoy a ton of finding new authors all the time, authors who are producing books, authors who are writing screenplays, authors. One of the most talked about authors right now. He just joined the platform. The platform Medium is a platform I even write articles on, right? And there's publications on there, or curated stories in those publications. And that's a great way to get started. Maybe you say, you know what? I just want to read an article, a 5-minute article that's about traveling to Guam. Okay. Or it's about how someone started a business writing about cooking because they're a cook and they wanted to do something else. They wanted a little side hustle and they turned it into a little business. They made a blog and they write about cooking. But see, it's not just one blog. It's tons of authors on there. So I would definitely suggest Medium if you want to get more into reading. And once again, maybe you can't do a book a week. Maybe you can't do a book a month. Maybe you want to journal and you want to write yourself. You can write on Medium too. You don't need to know how to build out a blog or anything like that. It's great advice on there. Writers work together. So that's a good platform to do that, to start off. Maybe you wanted to start, but something for you. You want to start expressing your feelings in a journaling? That's a great opportunity. You wanted to start meditation? Tons of great channels on YouTube to start out with meditation and yoga. If you can't afford to go to a yoga class, maybe you can join one of their clubs online and then link up in person. Done that myself. During the pandemic, there were 2 great yoga channels on YouTube I watched. I joined the clubs and built really good connections with these instructors, with these practitioners, because I wanted to do something to keep me connected with other people like a lot of people did, right, during the pandemic. But don't lose that. The key here is don't wait until the beginning of the year to focus on you. You need selfish time. That's why you say no. I'm not going to pick up the work phone on a Saturday. Or no, I stop at 5 p.m. I'm done with work. Let me focus on me. Let me focus on my family. Focus on my loved ones. Focus on my mental health. You can't be productive, right? I'm about to do this really crazy rhyme and I stop myself in the middle because I already made up one bar out of one t-shirt, right? But I'll forget it. I'm going to finish it. You can't be productive and destructive. No, I know that sounds so corny. Point is, that was corny. Oh my God. Anyway, Wow. I can't believe I just finished that statement. You can't. I'm still laughing at myself. Sorry. Prioritize your self-care. Prioritize your self-care. Say it again. Prioritize your self-care. Don't wait for tomorrow. What can you do today? Hey, you know what? I can finish work a little bit early. Take a nap. Take a nap. Naps are super powerful. Don't get enough credit. Seriously. I'm going to leave with that. You just don't get enough credit with that. So, the final one. Tip to help with productivity, personal growth, and you do not want to wait for the new year for this. Expand your network, but specifically when it comes to your network, find a mentor. We're entrepreneurs or creatives, because creatives naturally they if you're and I mean everyone's creative in their own way, right? In every field you can be creative, but when I say a creative person, you guys typically know what I mean, like a writer, a painter, an illustrator, photographer. There's a sense of independence there. And I'm really speaking to you guys because I'm one of you guys. I'm speaking to us, speaking for us. We tend to let that independence, I've always said this, your greatest strength can also be your greatest weakness. We tend to let that get in the way, our independence. Our independence can actually hurt us a lot, because we're very cautious of who we take advice from, which I can respect to a point. It's taught early on, right? Be swift to listen, cautious to speak, but swift to listen. Listen, because even if you think, hey, well, I got to protect my sanity, I got to protect my ears, but you also want to know what's going on. And being completely, turning off your ears to everything, you want to know what's going on. Even if it's something negative out there, you want to know what negative is out there, because you want to know what to protect yourself from and how to protect yourself, right? So that being very selective and strategic, you can do that too much to where you lose out on an opportunity to work with a really good person. And a mentor doesn't mean they're necessarily older than you, right? But I've often seen the best relationships, at least, where the mentor was at least the more accomplished in the area you want to be accomplished in, right? Not really a peer, but a mentor. This is the best way to expand your network. Because you hear people talking about expanding your network all the time, which is great. One of my former bankers, that she would be one of the best mentors to so many people who are ambitious, right? And I remember even mentioning it to her, just working with her and seeing her work with the local businesses, how I learned from her just by watching her maneuver and work with people and asking her a few questions here. Nothing formal. And this is my point about mentorship. It doesn't even have to be something formal like, oh, could you mentor me? Can you be my Obi-Wan Kenobi? It doesn't have to be that way. Oh, fudge. I'm probably going to get sued by Disney for saying that, aren't I? All right. Anyway, I'm not even going to cut it out. I'm going to leave it in. Disney, come for me if you want. I got some good scripts too, Disney. No, that's a whole nother thing. Whole nother matter. But it goes back to that. You don't have to have like a formal document, a contract, or even hiring in a sense. It just comes down to paying attention to what people are doing, asking questions, and making sure, of course, not interrogating them, but just asking questions of how they do things and what you're learning from and how you can incorporate them, right? To help you strengthen maybe some areas where you need the most help. But that's how you should really focus on expanding your network, because people talk about networking. I'm a firm believer in networking, but the mentorship aspect gets lost so much. And right now, in the world we're living in right now, more than ever, I am seeing so many people, no matter what your age is, kind of lost, right? And looking for that help and building a really good relationship. If you can't have that formal mentorship, fantastic. You can't, that's okay. But if you can build that relationship with somebody, it will be so much more of a rich and valuable relationship where you can learn so much. But just putting yourself around people where you're like, man, that person, they're spot on. They're much more skillful in this area than I am. They're more educated in this area than I am. Can I ask some questions? Can I learn from them? Can I just observe what they do? Can they kind of coach me a little bit? Humble yourself enough to know that you don't know everything. Okay? And get out there and find yourself a good mentor. So with that, those productivity tips, it's personal productivity, but it goes into all aspects. Because when you're productive, that just doesn't mean, oh, wow, I'm productive, I've got so much work done today. No. Productivity is so much more than that, right? Being productive, you feel better. Doesn't it feel good when you get something done in a day? When you get something knocked out and completely, it's just done, and you're like, hey, I'm good for the day. I don't have to, I can do nothing. I can take that nap, right? And that's still part of being productive, because I wanted to take a nap. I needed a nap. I wanted to be, re-energized. So the first is to set clear, measurable goals. You have to. Old school term, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time, or time bound, if you will, right? Which goes right into time management. And protect your time, safeguard your time. Be very, very much of a gatekeeper when it comes to your time, because you ain't getting it back. Don't get me fired up about that, but y'all know I don't money, but time, I'm not getting that time back. That's the only way you can really see me ever get annoyed, is when somebody's wasting my time, because I'm never getting that time back, and you're not getting that time back either. Based on that time, what was successful? That's number 3. What was successful? What challenges did you face, and how did you overcome? What did you achieve that you could take going into that new schedule, going into that new time-based plan? The 4th area, personal growth and self-care. You make the time for yourself. Is it exercising? Is it journaling? Like I said, Medium is a great place just to get started. Prioritize that. I'm going to give myself 20 minutes. I'm going to give myself 30 minutes every day. I'm going to give myself an hour every week. Saturday is completely mine. Hell, if it's a weekday, great for you. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever it is. Real quick on that one. There was at one point in time when I had the ability, flexibility in my schedule, I would go to prayer on Friday. Friday would be my day. I would work on Fridays. I would work on Saturday. And people were shocked. They were like, why would you want to work on the weekend? It's like, because I like that Friday. I go to prayer. I don't have to rush back and forth to work or nothing like that. I can do a little something. I would draw, I would write. And that's actually when I started writing on Medium, because I had enough time to start writing. And I was like, hey, well, let me find a platform. I had my own personal blog on my own website, and I ran up and I found Medium, right? So that's my point. You might discover something. And I've met some really good people on there, right? Really good people, positive people, encouraging, good feedback. So you never know what you might discover when you give yourself that personal time. And the 5th one, yes, expand your network, but really focus on trying to find a mentor and working with a mentor. Or somebody might be right in your network right now. You can ask. I have a good friend who's in real estate. This brother's doing great work beyond where I am right now. And I'm happy for it, because he's teaching me. I'm talking to him. He's teaching me. He's teaching me without even saying, hey, we're going to sit down and have a class. No. Every time we have a conversation over lunch, I did this, I did that. This is what I can do in the future. I ask questions, get good answers. We tour different buildings. We see. The point is, you might have that person right now. You could just pick up the phone, hit them up on whatever, Snapchat, Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever it may be. Go out, have a coffee, go out, have a drink, whatever you do. Pick their brain a little bit. You're like, man, can I just observe some of the things that you're doing? Take notes. Who knows? They might be open up to like, yeah, man, let's do it. Let's meet up every hour just to talk about that every once a week. We could talk about that, what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. And then we could just chill and kick it and hang out and be friends. Could be a family member for all you know. Your mentor could be right there with you. So with that, when we come back, we're going to go to the book of the episode. And like I said, this author is actually on Medium right now. And frankly, I mean, one of the best books you could ever read. This is actually a book I've suggested before. So when we come back, we'll get to the book of the episode. All right, everybody. So we are back. And this book, I've actually recommended this book before. It's a great book to read. But I thought it was like just a perfect timing right now. Not only just on this topic, but just on so many other things. It's the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Sorry if you got kids around. Hey, I'm an adult. You're an adult. Let's just be real. Right? We're going to call it what it is. Um, by Mark Manson. Now, as I mentioned, Mark is also on Medium. So that's something to, another great reason to join and another great reason to check out the great authors that are there, that are producing fantastic work. And it's a great way also, like I said, to just express yourself, not from just a personal aspect, but also to keep you, honest with yourself, what you want to accomplish. And if you set a goal, to achieve that goal. The subtle art of not giving a fuck, though. I know, right? Just simply, the subtle art of, yeah. We're humans. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. We are not going to accomplish everything we set out to do when we want to set out to do it. We do make goals, though. We still make those goals. You know why we still make those goals? Because we want to accomplish things. We want to feel good about ourselves. And it could have been a reason, as I brought up, when I look back on my schedule, there were some things I didn't accomplish that I shouldn't have accomplished. And I'm glad I didn't, looking back on a few of them. And I will be honest, one of them is one of the biggest, it would have been the biggest financial investment, at least, of last year, right? And a few years ago, I even broke down about purchasing an investment property a few years back that didn't go through, and I'm very glad it didn't go through. And I think I've brought up, but that same place is actually for sale again by the people who actually wound up buying it. Yeah, glad I didn't do it. So that's 2 years in a row I would have made, or not 2 years in a row, but 2 out of the last, 4 years, I would have made major financial investments, and they pans out. It's good that they didn't work out. Right? Because sometimes we're looking at it from, I want to accomplish this, but you got to go back to the why of so many things. And even Mark actually even puts this in the book at one point. Let's be honest, sometimes things get effed up. And we have to live with it. Right? And the reason why we record, the reason why we track, the reason why we're going to look at these things going back and like, you know what? That wasn't supposed to work out. And that's okay. Or maybe this didn't work out because something came up. Something might have been within your power. Something may not have been within your power. You wouldn't know that if you're just sitting around and letting things, happen, and you don't really keep track of it. You don't log things. You don't keep a basic measurement, right? You won't know. It's just going to be chaos. It's going to just be happening all the time. And you won't know if you're on a path that you want or not, because you were without that path. So that's why we're making those SMART goals. That's why we're making those measurements, right? But it's not about being, and kind of going against the book a little bit, if you will. It's not about being fair. It's not saying something's your fault. Right? Sometimes you gotta say, well, you know what, that shit just wasn't supposed to happen. And move on and keep it pushing. And that's how you have to even take some things that happened this year. What I would say, one of the best things coming from this book is it helps you develop the tools, practices, right? To keep it simple, how to deal with things, how to cope, how to handle them. It's not an approach like, it's all chaos, so I'm just throw it all to the wind. No, this book is a good slap in the face. It wakes you up. Just to be real with you, it does. It really wakes you up. And it helps you in finding happiness and finding joy in some times, in some places that you might not think you're going to find that happiness and that joy. Like, think about it. If someone says to you, hey man, you know what? I had an opportunity to make a major investment that would have produced 3, maybe 4 times, right? A return on that investment over the years. And I'm talking about a short period of time, a few years, right? But man, that fell through. You know how most people, oh my God, that's horrible, man. I'm so sorry. But while as literally within weeks, I was able to look back on it. That's when actually I read this book, I want to say probably a year before attempting to buy the first investment property. And everybody I talk to, they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you didn't get the place. Oh, I'm so sorry you didn't get this building. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "I'm good." They're like, "Oh, wow, well, okay." And people think you're delusional. Just because I was thinking, oh, you're dealing with you're dealing with, okay, this is acceptance and there's going to be anger. And there was like anger wasn't, I don't think anger ever came up. I think it came up like, dang, okay, that's all right. It wasn't even like anger. It was kind of like, I kind of wish I did, but then I didn't. And literally within weeks, I was perfectly fine. And what's really crazy, like I said, I noticed it was purchased and it immediately went back on sale. And the worst part about it is the people who are selling it. Last time I looked, they were selling it for the same price. So I would hate to think that they took a loss on that, like a serious loss on that. And that's rough. That's real rough. That could have been me. Right? You don't have to be positive all the time, but there's some things that you can handle, right? And if you have the right tools, you can handle them properly. And what I mean properly is you don't have to necessarily be positive, like, oh my God, joy and happiness and smile on your face all the time, but you can handle them in a positive manner to where it doesn't break you down and beat you down. Marcus was really good tips. And you know me, every book is about implementation. Every book is about implementation, not about just about reading it and say, oh my God, that's a good read. Hey, if one of your goals was, I want to read more. Like I said, Mark is on Medium. I'm on Medium. After you pick up this book, jump on, check out his subscription. This is not affiliate link or anything like that. This is just, something that helped me. Hopefully it can help you as well. And while you're there, check out some of the stuff that I'm writing too. The cool part about this is that if you are a Medium, you'll see a lot of different writers. You see a lot of different authors. And if one of your goals was also to start writing, one of your goals was to you want to improve SEO for your business, you can start writing for your business too. See, the way I always look at it is there's so many different opportunities out there. It's just a little bit of guidance. That's all some of us need. A little bit of guidance to say, hey, you could take this route, you could take that route. And sometimes we don't even need the guidance. We just need to know the opportunity is even there. Right? Most people, if I say you can start writing a blog, they're thinking like, oh, I got to get a WordPress website, or I gotta go purchase a domain right away. You know how I feel about that. Yes, you should always have your own website. But if you're very brand spanking new to blogging and everything, or you always wanted to write and get it in front of people who are looking for articles, they're looking for blog posts, they're looking for things from unique, new, different writers. Medium's a great platform for that. Mark has been on there for a few years. He's freaking awesome. Been following him. But like I said, I bought this book years ago. And when I was going over the script for this episode, I was like, this is the perfect book for this. I try not to double dip, but hey, when it's a good one, it's a good one. There's one book I think I've recommended it 3 times already. I might recommend it again. But this is for sure the second time. And there's a link to purchase the book. This one, typically I send you the link like to the Audible or the Audible book. This one will give you the paperback. Hey, take that time, take that hour a day, take that at least 30 minutes, sit back, read a book. And this is a great one to help you, especially going into the new year. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Now, with that, I owe you something as always, right? So, takeaways from this, of course, have gone over the tips from a business standpoint, productivity standpoint. We give you this great book to check out. I would love to know how you applied it. Put that in a comment. But also, SMART goal template for you to download, as well as a link to, if you're doing anything when it comes to a project, time-based project. Projects are meant to begin and end. Keep that in mind. People don't get that sometimes. Projects, they're meant to end. Give it an end date. One of the best project management tools out there is Asana. I use that. My team uses that. I use that with multiple clients. A link to Asana as well. Once again, that's not an affiliate link either. So the Asana link is in the description. The link to purchase and pick up Mark's book, The Subtle Art Not Giving a Fuck, that is also in the description. and the link to the SMART goal template. Also, there's a guide in the Asana link on how to build a project based on SMART goals. So, yep, did that for you. Yeah, I got you. You know your boy got you. So, with that, don't wait for New Year's. Now, if you're listening to this episode and it's December 31st, well, then hey, Happy New Year. But don't. You've heard this episode, cool. 3 points. You got 3 points for your business. 3 to 5 points for your personal goals and your productivity goals. A great book to check out. Reference there. Check out the audio book if you can't do the physical. You can't do the paperback. You want to listen to it as you travel, which is awesome. Do that. That's how I listen to a lot of books, or that's how I started listening to a lot of books. And you have a template to start off with this project. Get it going. Don't wait for tomorrow. I mean, I'm expecting you because you're the person that you are. You're listening to the show, so you probably are doing everything right now, which is awesome. That's great. Thank you. But now that this episode is done, kick it into high gear. Peace. Best to you. I've been your host, Aaron Muhammad, and I will see you, hear you, listen to you. You listen to me, one of them, in the next episode of The Ambition Show. Best to you and yours. Bye, everybody.